What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of the FireX chassis cleanup. We took care of the subframe, engine, rear suspension, the interior, doors, dashboard, the gas tank, which still has gasoline in it. We didn't expect that one, but it wasn't there. Coolant hoses and piping and the front harness and the subframe and all the good stuff, so we can finally have a clean chassis that sadly we're gonna have to take to the frame machine, because the front of the car, as I was taking the front panels and front bumper, I noticed that it's been an accident. There's some things that they're not in place, that there's been like a bit off in position. So we're gonna take it to the frame machine just to make sure the chassis is straight before we start taking things apart and start the welding process with the LochNSX chassis. So far so good. There are a couple of things to address. Like I said before, never a dull moment with this project, but after we're done the welding process, this project or the car is gonna move pretty fast. We just need to get the welding start done right, and then paint the chassis, and then after that everything should be easy peasy. So stay tuned and let's go with the video. In this section of the video, we're gonna be disconnecting e-brake cables, brake lines, speed sensors, shifted cables and brackets, as well as disconnecting the exhaust from the hangers, so we can drop the engine into a dolly and start disconnecting the subframe afterwards. After we disconnected all the cables and brackets from underneath the car, we positioned the engine on top of a dolly, and we started to disconnect the subframe from the chassis, so we can start dropping the engine little by little, since there was no top support, since everything was already melted. After toying with the subframe for a couple hours, we were able to disconnect the subframe from the chassis, so we can start working on the interior and start cleaning up the car. Here's a few pictures from the engine outside of the chassis. Before we could start working on the interior of the car, we had to cut the backside of the passenger side door so we can open it and start removing the carpet, seats and dashboards. In this section of the video, you can see us removing the steering, dashboard, radio system, and the remaining of the computers, as well as carpets and seats. Alright, so we're gonna start taking all this center section of the car, free up some space. We need to fish the harness underneath the seat. We're also gonna start clearing out all those harness, all computers and all that stuff back there. Remove this bar, which is pretty crusty. And then we're gonna remove the steering rack, like I said before, and then we can drop this front subframe, and we should have a clear chassis hopefully in the next couple hours. So let's get to it. To remove the seats, we have to cut the harness underneath the seat and power them manually with an external battery. The door removal of the Fire X was a breeze compared to what we had to deal with the LochNSX. To our surprise, the gas tank still have more than a few gallons of gasoline sitting in there. After we finished removing the passenger side door, we started to vacuum all the interior of the car since it was covered from ashes, plastic, and other pieces of debris. Alright everybody, we finally finished taking apart this beauty, toasty beauty. Most of the stuff that we were expecting from the car was as we expecting it, besides the front, where we got the little surprise that the bracket, the condenser bracket and the headlight bucket, they're a bit off place, so we're gonna have to like take the car or the chassis to the frame machine and address those little issues. But you know, we only needed the front of the car, so that's what we got, and it's in good shape for the most part. So let me show you. So here you have the final product. The chassis is as clean as possible. We got everything out of it, and we are gonna get the chassis ready to transport it to Atlanta, Georgia, so we can start working on the frame to make sure that everything is as straight as possible. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow and like our videos, as well as our other platforms on social media in Instagram and Facebook.